Tonight we begin with an announcement that financial advisors had anticipated, tax experts had analyzed, and retirees had desperately hoped would arrive. A development that unfolded not over years of congressional debate, but in a single IRS bulletin. A single bulletin that changes everything for Americans over 65. A single bulletin that promises relief for millions. A single bulletin that hides a devastating trap nobody is talking about. What the IRS did this week crossed the threshold that retirement planners had hoped would finally arrive. And when that threshold was crossed, Medicare quietly responded. They responded with adjustments, with recalculations, and with premium increases that could wipe out every dollar you thought you saved. For months now, there had been signals, not official IRS press releases, not formal Treasury Department announcements, just signals, that Washington was preparing something significant for senior taxpayers. The IRS has been predictable, yes, but they have been methodical in their predictability. Their inflation adjustments have followed a certain pattern, a rhythm, almost a formula. But what set off alarm bells among financial planners this quarter was that the pattern accelerated. Retirement specialists who monitor tax code changes know the indicators. The unusual timing of preliminary announcements, the expanded scope of standard deduction adjustments, the coordinated messaging from multiple agencies, the sudden silence from Medicare administrators. All of that aligned perfectly. And whenever the IRS goes quiet on Medicare coordination, it means something is about to get expensive. Early this month, the Internal Revenue Service released what they described as standard inflation adjustments for tax year 2026, including a senior standard deduction that had not been increased this significantly in over a decade. These are the kinds of adjustments that the IRS only implements when they are signaling something very specific: economic relief, political positioning, or genuine cost of living acknowledgement. Financial analysts didn't know which category this fell into, or whether it fell into all three at once. But what they did know was that the IRS was changing its approach to senior taxation. And when a federal agency shifts policy without extensive explanation, even by seemingly beneficial measures, retirees should pay attention. Here's what the IRS announced. For tax year 2026, individuals aged 65 and older will receive a combined standard deduction of up to $47,500 when filing jointly with a spouse, also over 65. Single filers over 65 will receive a standard deduction of approximately $17,900. These numbers represent the highest senior deductions in American tax history. The warning issued by retirement planning experts tonight was not normal. It was not routine. It was not symbolic. It was urgent. Advisor after advisor in consultation after consultation described the Medicare coordination issue as overlooked, potentially devastating, and, perhaps most importantly, entirely avoidable with proper planning. But tax savings only work if retirees understand the full picture. Medicare did not hesitate. In fact, their response this year was among the most aggressive premium adjustments we've seen in modern retirement planning. Here's what we know. Within weeks of the IRS announcing increased deductions, Medicare released updated income-related monthly adjustment amount brackets. These weren't the standard increases. These were targeted recalibrations, thresholds that Medicare only adjusts when they are preparing to collect significantly more from higher-income retirees. Tonight, financial planning firms confirmed that Medicare implemented adjustments on income brackets, including thresholds that had recently been modified for what analysts believe was revenue generation purposes. Medicare adjusted before retirees could plan accordingly. They hit Social Security recipients. They hit pension holders. They hit retirees with investment income that were likely preparing to enjoy their new tax savings. In other words, Medicare targeted the exact population celebrating the IRS announcement, the income that would have made their tax savings operational. This is what made retirement planners' warning so urgent. The IRS's deduction wasn't just beneficial, it was incomplete. It represented the kind of announcement that could cost retirees thousands if they didn't understand the Medicare trap. And Medicare, understanding tax behavior fully, responded with force. Not randomly, not impulsively, but systematically. They didn't raise premiums across the board. They didn't adjust basic Medicare Part B costs uniformly. They hit the income thresholds where retirees fall into IRMAA brackets. They hit the exact modified adjusted gross income levels that trigger premium surcharges. For retirees whose income exceeds specific thresholds, Medicare Part B premiums can increase by more than $300 per month. That's $3,600 annually per person. And here's where the story becomes even more concerning. Financial analysts now believe that many retirees celebrating the $47,500 deduction will inadvertently trigger MIA surcharges that eliminate their savings entirely. Medicare wanted to see whether retirees would withdraw retirement funds without understanding the consequences. But instead, the opposite should happen. Retirees shouldn't celebrate blindly. They should plan strategically with precision, so coordinated, so deliberate, that even the Medicare trap becomes manageable. You don't get Medicare's attention easily, but cross certain income thresholds and Medicare notices immediately. Tax attorneys speaking with financial media under anonymity described Medicare's adjustment as revenue recapture, a way to collect from retirees who thought they were saving money. But informed retirees can prove today that they remain both protected and prepared. Their planning can be not only thorough, but timed so precisely that they avoid every bracket entirely. That timing matters because it shows understanding of the 2-year lookback rule. It shows that retirees are not passive recipients of government policy. They are active participants in their financial futures. As reports continued coming in throughout the week, we learned more about the scale of the Medicare adjustment impact. Retirees with modified adjusted gross income above $13,000 filed singly faced the first IRMAA tier, forcing premium increases of approximately $70 monthly. Married couples with combined income exceeding $26,000 face surcharges that have been adjusted upward in the last fiscal year. High-income retirees operating in the top of brackets reportedly face surcharges exceeding $500 monthly, used by Medicare to fund expanded program costs. This wasn't just a standard adjustment.